Have you ever heard a story so strange, so chilling, that it sticks with you long after you've heard it? A story where an entire village filled with men, women, and children simply vanishes without a trace? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most baffling and enduring mysteries in modern history: the silent disappearance of the Anjikuni village. Picture this. It's the harsh, unforgiving winter of 1930. We're in the remote, snow-covered forests of northern Canada, miles from any major city. Nestled by a frozen lake is a small, thriving Inuit settlement known as Anjikuni Village. This wasn't just a place on a map, it was a living, breathing community. It was home to a few dozen families, people who had mastered the art of survival in one of the world's most extreme environments. Their days were filled with the familiar rhythms of life: hunting caribou, fishing through the ice, and trading furs with trappers who passed through. The air would have been filled with the sounds of children laughing, dogs barking, and the comforting crackle of fires. But on one freezing November night, all of that came to an abrupt and silent end. Our story begins with a man named Joe LaBelle, a seasoned fur trapper who knew these woods like the back of his hand. He was on his way to Anjikuni, a familiar stop on his route. He looked forward to the warmth of the village, the friendly faces, and a hot meal after a long journey in the bitter cold. As he approached through the deep snow, he noticed something was wrong. Eerily wrong. The usual plume of smoke that rose from the village chimneys was gone. The happy sounds he expected to hear were replaced by a deafening, unnatural silence. The entire landscape seemed to hold its breath. He called out, his voice swallowed by the vast, empty wilderness. "Hello? Anyone here?" Nothing. Not a single reply. A knot of unease tightened in his stomach. He pushed on, walking into the heart of the village. The scene that greeted him was something out of a nightmare. The huts were empty, but they weren't abandoned in a hurry. It was as if everyone had just stepped out for a moment. Inside one hut, he found a pot of stew, now frozen solid, still hanging over a long-dead fire. It was clear it had been left in the middle of cooking. In another, a child's half-mended parka lay on a bed, the needle and thread still stuck in the hide. Everything was in its place. Personal belongings, food supplies, and even valuable rifles were found leaning against the walls of the huts. In a community where a rifle was essential for survival, leaving one behind was unthinkable. It made no sense. But the most disturbing discovery was yet to come. Outside the village, LaBelle found the sled dogs. These weren't just pets. They were the lifeline of the Inuit people, their primary means of transportation and survival. They were found chained to their posts, frozen solid. They had starved to death, waiting for masters who never returned. Why would anyone, especially people who depended